So today I just wanted to talk about learning how to respect yourself. Quite ironic to say, but sometimes with some characters, in order to have a better perception of yourself, other people have to treat you well. And in order for them to treat you well is how you convey yourself to the world. And the simpleton excuses of people treating you bad is, oh, they just didn't like me. Oh, it's their problem. Oh, it's because I'm a woman. No, it's not. It's simply, sometimes it is, but most of the time, like 99% of the time, it's simply because you didn't come across as well, and you have to look more deeper into it, into the reasons why they didn't like you. Not just, oh, they didn't like me because of this. Oh, no. Maybe it's because of the way you talk. Maybe it's because of how you make eye contact. Maybe it's which I know is quite vague to say, but there are many factors and variables that come into play once you're talking to someone, which could affect how they view you, and then it could affect how you view yourself. So the first thing is to be able to say no. I know you can't really come up to someone once they're like being nice to you and be like, no. I know it's quite hard, and I'm not telling you to lie to them. You should not lie to them, because again, once you lie, it really decreases how you view yourself, because you're like, oh, I'm constantly lying. Say no, but not in a rude way. Say, oh, I'm really busy. I promised myself I would do this. I have to go do this. You know, there's many things you could say to get yourself out of the situation, but to lie, no. Just say you have other things to do and you're busy. It's all about priorities. You know, it's like the opportunity cost. Like, would you rather go out with someone, build their social connection and interactions with them, or do something for yourself and, let's say, go to the gym? I don't know. Depending on what you have to do. So decide what's better for you. I would say try to do it objectively, not subjectively of, oh, I just feel like going out and having fun. That's probably the wrong way to do it. But it's really important to identify what you want, and instead of looking at others, really sit down with yourself and have a conversation and talk to a camera. It really helps talking to a camera. I swear, it really helps. Just talking to yourself. You don't have to share it to anyone. Just analyze and think, what do I want in life? What do I want to achieve out of life? What career path do I want to take? And deciding career paths, that's like a whole other video, but which I'm currently like struggling and going through a period of like, what do I know what I want to do, but it's like an objective side and a subjective side of me, but that's another video. I'm trying to become the person I want to be. I have like a version of myself that I want to achieve, and I think everyone has a version of themselves which they want to live up to. And if that version of you goes to the gym, if that version of you does what they say they're gonna do, then with each single day, if you keep repeating the same action, then it's gonna get there. You're gonna get there. It's just repeating the same thing and doing what you don't want to do. A lot of the times our feelings come into play, but there's so many times when your feelings should kind of be put aside and do what you have to do, especially once you decided on a career path, or especially once you decided what you have to do. If you're talking about career path, you have to think both objectively and subjectively, which is really hard to find that golden middle. And once you find that, then you have to objectively start thinking about what you have to do in order to get there. That's when you cannot let your feelings come into play. But your feelings should come into play if you're choosing a big like change or like a career. Anyway, a big thing is gossip. I realized that a lot of the times people bond with each other through gossip and talking crap about other people. Like, it's like you see it everywhere. Like, people like doing it. Like, people talk a lot of BS to each other, and then they kind of bond over it because it's like something that they share in common. And that's the most unhealthy thing you could possibly do. Not only are you building your connection of talking smack about other people, but you're just putting yourself in a negative light towards other people. You start thinking of yourself more negatively subconsciously. You're like, oh, I'm such a negative person. Yeah, you probably are, babes. If you're gonna talk to someone, find someone with common interests. I know it's quite hard, but the easiest way to do it is go to a place where you enjoy, like a hobby, and then talk to people there. I know sometimes it's quite difficult talking to strangers, but You never know if you don't talk to them. Now, do what you say you're going to do. A lot of the times, people just speak and speak, which is okay, but if you're speaking, especially to yourself, like if you're like, Dana, I have to go do this. I have to go to the grocery store. I have to go to the gym after. I have to go out with my dog. Do it. Like, this is probably the biggest thing that makes you confident, because once you know that you can actually go and do what you put your mind to, then that just continues to build confidence within yourself. This is like a relationship and friendship thing where do not stay in relationships and friendships that you know are toxic for you or don't really benefit you. By benefit you, I don't mean financially. I mean emotionally. If you're staying in a toxic relationship or friendship, or even with a family member, and if you realize that it's toxic for you and it's not improving you, and you're constantly anxious about, oh, what do I have to say in order to make them feel better, or what should I not do? If you feel like you cannot talk to them comfortably, get out of that situation. Why are you putting yourself into negative situations willingly? We have a choice. We always have a choice. It's just whether it's worth it or not. It's whether we should actually do it or not. Because sometimes, especially a toxic relationship, sometimes you have a kid with a toxic partner and you cannot just leave them because it puts both you and the child at risk. So you really have to wait out. If you're alone and you're staying in a toxic relationship, then you really have to sit down with yourself and talk to yourself. Why am I in that? Why did I put myself into this situation? And what am I getting out of this? Except negative things. So another social thing is to not go when you're not invited. Like, just don't do that to yourself. It really emphasizes your own well-being, and I think anyone likes to be desperate for anything. Basically, treat people accordingly to what they deserve. I know it's like a lot of social things, but most of the times this is what really establishes our self-worth, because we can do as much as we want to alone, but once we're put into social situations where we don't want to be, that's really where character comes into play. And if you can get out of that, then you can do a lot of things. If you can tell someone in their face no, then that already like makes you more disciplined than a lot of people accordingly to what they deserve. So if they're treating you with low respect, why should you treat them with high respect? Why should you make them feel better about themselves about treating you bad? No, do not do that to yourself. If they treat you worse or bad, don't go people pleasing to them. Just don't talk to them. The best thing you can do is ignore them. I know it's quite hard, and I know sometimes people just cannot ignore and they cannot be put to shame, but sometimes the best thing to do is ignore them and pretend like they don't exist with negative people. And it's like the gossiping thing. Instead of putting other people down, and instead of focusing on how they live, which on a daily basis does not even affect you, go and do something for yourself. Go and do something for yourself. So I used to really struggle with talking more than if I'm being honest, I still struggle with this. I talk a lot if the person's kind of dry, or if I feel like I need to say more in order to make them feel more comfortable. I have this thing, which I should probably stop doing, because if the person cannot continue the situation, like the conversation, why should I even communicate with them, you know? So a lot of the times I'm speaking a little too much. There we go. And once I'm speaking a little too much, then my thinking level kind of decreases because I'm just blabbering on about. I need to really improve on that, and I'm probably not the only person who struggles with this. They talk less and think more. But if you're around a group of new people and you're just really quiet, then people are not going to talk to you. That's just like a thing, you know? Like, oh, like a lot of the times these motivational people are like, only say what you have to do, but that's because they already have a status. A lot of the times people with no status, if they don't talk, they're just put aside, like they're just ignored. They're like, oh, they're a bit too quiet. Hopefully you learned something from this, and if you have any questions, just ask, and I'm willing to help you out, even though I'm still on this path and I'm still learning and trying to see what I can improve on and what what I want to do. It's kind of a big thing right now, but see you guys.